and welcome to Poland Daily History with me, Nicholas Richardson. In this series of episodes, we've been looking at famous Polish conflicts, and none is more famous than the Battle of Grunwald in 1410. And to discuss this, I'm joined again in the studio by Professor Krzysztof Jabłonka. So, Professor, facing persecution from the Teutonic Order, the Lithuanians turned to Poland for help, and together this led to the Battle of Grunwald.
Lithuania was even more threatened by the Teutonic Knights, who, moreover, forced the Grand Duke of Lithuania, Władysław Jagiełło II, to be baptized within 4 years. They were then met with surprise. The Grand Duke was, in fact, baptized, but in Kraków. He then married the Polish princess and became the King of Poland. He united two endangered, foreign and largely unfriendly towards each other nations, Lithuanians speaking a different language, and large parts of Belarus and Ukraine were connected with the Kingdom of Poland. It must be said that the Battle of Grunwald, which played such a great role, was the largest battle of Central Europe compared to the Battle of Agincourt in the west and the Battle of Kulikovo with the Tatars in the east. It was fought in only one important goal: to save Samogitia. Samogitia was the western part of Lithuania, which was threatened with aggression the most, as it was south of the Livonian Brothers of the Sword and north of the Teutonic Order. These two orders wanted to unite at the expense of Samogitia. The fact that Samogitia survived is precisely the result of the union of the Lithuanians with the Poles. At Grunwald, Polish knights set off to save Samogitia, although they were not sure as to its location and what nation it was. There is a historical scene in which both of these armies are moving towards their Teutonic state in Czerwińsk nad Wisłą, where the Polish army crosses the Vistula River, and on the other side you can see the Lithuanian army. This is the first time the Polish army sees Lithuanians and the first time they see Poles. Both armies combined attacked the heart of the Order. The Order could not afford to allow such a powerful army within its borders. They were fortified on the Drwęca River. When the Poles examined the riverbanks, they were too slushy, and forcing such a river would simply be too difficult. They then decided to go around it to its source. At the source of Drwęca, both armies met in the field. The battle would have been unfavorable to Poles were it not for the shape of the terrain. After 500 years, this terrain was explored, and it was discovered that in the middle of today's field, a huge oak forest grew, and this forest was where the troops hid, meaning an ambush was certain. Indeed, the Teutonic Knights managed to be pulled into the Polish part of the field. Thanks to this, the Teutonic Order was double seized. The Teutonic Knights had a huge army of guests, meaning killers from all over Europe, who came here simply to get rich. They were unpunished and were not a part of the Order. They were simply a supportive army. They had the entire left wing to their disposal, the middle of this forest and the right wing containing the Crown Army. However, the Crown Army did not make it to the battlefield, and the Lithuanians began the battle instead of the Poles. They bravely resisted until noon. The Tatars fought at the very end of the Lithuanian wing, and Tatars fought by jumping back and forth, pulling the opponent into their field. Unfortunately, the army of the Teutonic Order, turning back from this pursuit, spotted the backs of the Lithuanians and struck them from two sides. The Lithuanians could not withstand this impact. Nobody would be able to withstand it. They rushed to escape. They did not manage to run far. They escaped to their camp, which they managed to defend, and then the Poles began their attack. The Poles did not do well at first, because they lost their banner. The battle for the banner is one of the most important in this battle. They managed to regain it and restore it to the Polish army, after which the troop of the Helmnoland passed to Poland. They had to serve according to the feudal laws of the Teutonic Knights, but they returned to Poland and attacked the Teutonic Knights from the west wing. Ultimately, the Grand Master used his reserve, consisting of 16 banners, which he wanted to circumvent the Polish army with, and did so. Initially, the Poles thought they were going to help another troop, but quickly realized they were dealing with the Teutonic Order. They rose to fight, and then a riot of soldiers emerged from the forest and locked the Teutonic Knights in a trap. However, this trap was not closed from the north. Two sorts of cauldrons were created. After this, Lithuania returned to the battlefield. Lithuania corked up these two cauldrons, and in short, the Poles held the shield and Lithuania chopped. The Poles were not allowed to kill the friars, as they were ordained, and this would be a great sin for the Poles. However, Lithuania had no restraints, as they were pagan. It was in this way that almost all of the Teutonic Order fell in this battlefield. The Poles were winning so much that there was nobody to make peace with for a long time. Heinrich von Plauen, who did not make it to the battlefield, managed to retreat to Malbork and hide there. A siege of Malbork had no effects, and unfortunately the Poles were made to conclude the first Peace of Toruń on unfavorable conditions. We did not regain the area, we only managed to get rid of the Teutonic Order and save Samogitia. The Teutonic Order released Samogitia from their grip and never again fell into the hands of the Teutonic Order.
Wypuścili z rąk żmudź i ona już nigdy nie wpadła w ręce krzyżackie.
That's it for this edition of Poland Daily History, where we've learnt some facts that we knew or thought we knew and some things we didn't know. So join us again on Poland Daily History, where we delve into the fascinating history that is Poland.